cold January evening, most people are sitting by the fire in their living room. Not here. I always have winter projects going on in the wintertime, and this year's no exception. Inside this building is my Grand Design Solitude, parked and leveled, ready to be wrenched on, worked on, and improved. I noticed a year ago when we purchased the unit after we traded in our old camper, the undercarriage was rusting. Now, if you're asking yourself, that seems rather odd for a brand new unit, I would agree with you. Nearest we can figure is they built the unit in Indiana, but had to drive it down to Florida in order to sell it. On the way down, the unit must have been driven on salty roads. It's the only thing that I can think of that would cause the kind of rust that I see building up on the axles and the frame. I'm going to have a series of videos posted for you, which is going to describe the breakdown and de-rusting followed by the rebuilding of the two axles, the hub assembly, the brake assembly, and reattach all of that back to the camper itself. You're going to see that this is a very detailed video on how to remove rust and then apply a coating which will keep the rust away for good. I imagine this coating will probably survive for the next 15 plus years, especially with the camper being kept inside like it is. My goal of this channel is to provide content that you may not see anywhere else. I don't see too many other folks working on their campers, especially the kind of projects and deep dives that I get into, whether by choice or by necessity. The methods in this video are going to show you how to remove rust and keep it off for a long time, not just on campers, but on vehicles and other things. So by all means, apply the things that are learned to some of your other projects around the house or around your garage. Now we're going to begin with the disassembly of one side of the camper, and then obviously the disassembly on the other side of the camper goes exactly the same. So let's go ahead and get to disassembling the driver's side right now. So here we are disassembling the driver's side by removing the wheel assemblies first. I highly recommend having an impact wrench, just like seen above. Sure makes taking these lugs off way easier than it would be otherwise. Now I want to talk about these two things I'm taking off right here. They're called CentraMatic wheel balancers. They're used in order to keep the whole wheel assembly to include the brakes balanced while assembly is rotating. I will include a link in the description to describe it. Now here, let's take a look at the rust that has formed just in 1 year since the camper was assembled back last fall in fall of 2024. Now it's amazing to me that in just 1 year, one trip on a salty road did this kind of damage. It just goes to show you the kind of coatings they're putting on these things when they're getting assembled. You can see there's a CRE 3000 shackle set installed on this unit. We're going to take that stock item off and we're going to replace it with a Dexter Easy Flex.
Look at this. These people that put this camper together installed the rear leaf spring on the driver's side backwards. Look at the split in the leaf spring. Look at the yellow paint. The yellow paint's supposed to go in the hanger, not in the shackle. Installed backwards from the factory.
Once this hub was removed, you can see that this bearing race seal was actually leaking just a little bit. I got it under some light there to see it a little bit better. Here's the brake assembly, and you can see the same leak, just a little wet there on top of the axle spindle assembly. This, of course, is not the end of the world. It is one of the reasons why it's highly recommended that you service your bearings on your camper at least once a year. Now these of course are Dexter 8K axles, so they're designed to handle a camper this size. It's a 41-foot bumper-to-bumper rig, so very beefy axles. It's amazing how light the axles are when you get all the parts off, leaf springs and brake assemblies. You can actually pick it up with your hand, as you're going to see in just a moment. Now what's amazing to me here is the amount of rust that has accumulated underneath the parts in just a year. Imagine if this would have gone a few years, how that would have looked. Again, we take a look here at the axles completely disassembled, and you can see just how much rust is involved. Here's all the hardware. We're going to restore all of that here on follow-on videos. Now the wheel bearings were in pretty good shape. The forward bearings, the outer bearings, were in really good shape, but these, the inner bearings, they're the ones that had the dark black grease on them. I cleaned all of that out. You can see just how black the grease is. That's only after 1 year of use, maybe about 4,000 or 5,000 miles of actual mileage on the road. This is why it's so important for you to inspect these bearings every year. Replace the grease, repack the bearings, because if you don't, you're going to have heat buildup and you may actually have an axle separation, which looks just like this, and trust me, you want to avoid this at all costs. Here's another shot at the bearing. You can see some of the black grease once again mixed in with a little bit of red, but once again that grease was failing. It was time for new grease. That's going to do it for this episode of Thrust and Thunder. We certainly appreciate you joining us. We hope to see you again in the second episode, where we'll be derusting and restoration. Please leave a like and subscribe. Please leave comments down below if you have any, and we will see you on the next one.